Alright, so I am just going to be making an experience video on getting my Monroe piercing done, or getting a Monroe piercing, or however you want to say that. This is my third day having the piercing. I was going to make a full-on experience video in about a month or so when it was healing up, but I figured that I could just make the initial video right now because I've been getting tons and tons of questions on it regarding if it hurts, what the process was like, everything like that. And then I figured if things go weird or if things go good, in about a month or two I can come back on here and give you guys a little update on how it's healing and what jewelry I have in and things like that. So as far as pricing goes, it really depends on where you go and kind of where you live. If you live like in a bigger city where the tattoo shops and things have a lot of customers, it's probably going to run you a little bit more. If you live in like a really rural area, they might not charge as much. I went back to the same person who had done my belly button piercing because he was very, very professional. He has been in the same location for a few years now, and he is the owner, and I just really appreciated how he treated me as a customer, and he was very professional in the fact that he knew what he was talking about, and I really, really appreciated that. So I did spend a little bit extra money to go to him because I knew that he was going to give me quality. So what had happened is I went to the tattoo and piercing shop, I filled out some paperwork, had to prove that I was over 18 or had parental consent, yada yada yada. I filled out the little paperwork. So yes, I signed the paperwork, I went to the back, they put me in a chair that is kind of like the one at the dentist where like it leans back, leans forward, etc. They had me sit there, or he had me sit there rather, and then he put a little cloth around my neck like a little bib to catch any drool or blood or, you know, whatever. And then he handed me a Dixie cup of Listerine, so I had to swish around with some mouthwash for 30 seconds and then spit it out, make sure that my mouth was all clean and everything. And then he, you know, gloved up, put gloves on, very sanitary. He washed his hands, put gloves on, etc. And then he made a little dot on my lip where he thought that the piercing should usually go. And I had a little handheld mirror in front of me, and he's like, okay, now you just gotta tell me. It's where you want it placed, it's not where I want it placed, because you're the one who has to live with it on your face. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of want it, you know, over to the side a little bit. So he moved the dot over, and then I was like, okay, well, I want it up just a little bit higher. And he moved it up a little bit higher, and I looked at it and I smiled. You always want to make sure that when you are figuring out where the placement of your piercing is going to be, to smile first, because you don't want those creases to be in the way. Your skin could fold a weird way, and then it could catch on things and it could be weird, or it could like bend a certain way and be really uncomfortable. So you definitely want to like smile, move your mouth in lots of different directions, make sure it's exactly where you want it, pretty much. The reason I got mine placed exactly where I do, I have done so much research, and I had seen so many people get it, you know, closer to like the lip itself and a little bit more in, just kind of like in this area. The reason I got it where I did is I intentionally got it out and up. And that is the reason because I didn't want it closer here, rubbing against my longer teeth, my bigger teeth up front. And I got it higher up because I want it to rub along my gums, not along my gum line where my teeth are. And so that is where I got it. That's the placement. That's why I got the placement, because I wanted something that not necessarily looked the best, but I wanted something that was going to be really comfortable for me to wear, because I was going to have it in my mouth for quite a long time. When I was sitting there, right before he went to go put the clamps on and the needle in, he looked me dead in the face and he said, "Now, are you 100% sure you want this done? Because with facial piercings, they will never fully heal, and you will always, always have a permanent scar where you have it done. So you're going to see where it was for the rest of your life." And, you know, I had been wanting this piercing done for over a year now. About a year or so ago, I had purchased a magnetic fake piercing off of eBay. and you can just type in a fake lip piercing or something like that on eBay, and it comes with a little flat back magnet and the little gem. You put the magnet on the inside and you put the gem on the outside, and you can kind of get an idea of what it will look like. You can move it around and mess with the placement and things like that. And so that is what I had done. I've kind of been like playing around with the fake piercing for a little while now, and just to see if that's what I really wanted to do. And I finally told myself about a year later that I was ready to make it permanent. And so that's what I did. I told him, yep, I want to do this. So once we decided on where we were going to position the piercing, once we figured out where it was going to be, then he took these little clamps and he pulled my lip out like so. And he clamped the clamps right around where the hole was. And he took a big needle and he touched the needle barely on the dot, and he said, okay, I'm going to touch it to your skin, and then I'm going to push it through. Just make sure you keep your tongue out of the way, because you didn't come here for a tongue piercing. So I made sure I kept my tongue back, but he did pierce it inward rather than outward. So he pierced the needle in, and at this point I had a really long needle just sticking out of my lip, and I really wish I would have taken a picture. But I did hand my phone to my mom because I was afraid that it would like vibrate or go off while it was in my hand while he was in the middle of piercing, and I would jump. So I didn't want to risk something like that happening. So I did give my phone to my mom for her to hold on to it for me, because she was there and she watched. But yeah, so then they pierced it through, and then they put the metal post in, and it does have a flat back. So I will go ahead and do a close-up of that right here so you guys can see. It does have a flat back, so that is what rests up against my gums. And then after the post was in, he screwed on the gem. This is a 2mm gem. I'm not quite sure how long the post is, but whenever you go and get a piercing like this, or like a belly button piercing or an eyebrow piercing, they always pierce it with a longer bar or a longer post to accommodate swelling. Your lip is going to swell, your eyebrow is going to swell, your belly button is going to swell. It's just a matter of how it works. You just got a fresh wound in your body. It's going to swell, it's going to turn red, etc. So they always intentionally pierce it with a longer bar so that when you swell, it won't like be painful to you. As far as like being super tight on the bar from end to end and whatnot. So he did tell me that the peak swelling day will be day 4 or 5. Like I said, it is day 3 now, and it's pretty puffy. It's pretty swollen. I am very thankful that you can't really see it as much, but yeah, I can kind of feel that it's a little puffy. And he had told me that once the swelling has gone back down to normal size, and you can still see a majority of the post sticking out, come back in about 2 weeks, and he will supply me with a new post that is better fit to my lip, and it will be metal as well. Now this is where I want to ask you guys personally, if you have this piercing or if you've had a lip piercing in general whatsoever. I want to know your personal opinion on this and your personal experience. I had asked him when I was there if it would be okay to use the plastic posts that just have the gems that push in rather than screw in. I had told him that I had done a lot of research. I watched a lot of Brienne Barbie's videos on YouTube. She does amazing piercing videos, great explanations, great experience videos, and I had done a lot of research on her when I had gotten my belly button done and right before I got this done. And she began using the plastic posts because the metal was rubbing up against her gum line and it was causing it to recede, and she has like comparison footage of like this side compared to this side, and this side is like way up higher, so her gum line is like receding up because of the metal rubbing up against it. And I want to know from your guys' personal experience, is it better to go with the metal piercing, like the metal post, or is it better to later, after this is healing and I can switch piercings out, is it better to go with the plastic, bendable plastic post that you can kind of cut to size yourself? I just want to know personally your guys' own experiences, because I am really scared of a receding gum line and things like that, because I I don't know, I've been so like careful with my mouth and things, so I want to be very, very cautious of that. So let me know in the comments below your personal experience and which you prefer and which one has best worked for you, and that would be greatly appreciated. So after everything was said and done, I had my piercing, I paid, I left, I went home. As far as eating went and goes, I haven't really, the other night I had pizza and I didn't want to risk like biting into it and like the pepperoni or something like going up into my piercing. So I did eat pizza with a fork, and I also had a Subway sandwich that I ended up eating with a fork, just for the fact of I really wanted to be cautious not to get anything in the piercing because it's still fresh and I didn't want to get anything up and in it. It wasn't necessarily the fact of I was scared that it would snag on my teeth or anything like that. I was just scared of getting something in there and causing it to infect, and I really didn't want to do that. So I am eating everything with a fork. I'm drinking everything through a straw. He told me that as far as cleaning goes, what I have to do is every time after you would eat, drink, or smoke, I'm not a smoker, so I don't have to worry about that aspect, but if you guys are and you're considering it, every time after you eat, drink, or smoke, you have to rinse with an alcohol-free mouthwash, so no Listerine because Listerine is highly alcohol-based, a saline solution, whether it be like salt water that you've kind of just mixed up, or you can also just use regular cold clean water, whatever you kind of have on you at the time, and you just rinse for a good 30 seconds after you eat, drink, or smoke, and that will help clean the inside. And as far as the outside goes, you want to take a Q-tip, warm water, and antibacterial soap, and just like clean the little crusties off twice a day. And I'm not sure if I touched base on this, but as far as the pain level goes, the actual getting it pierced process did hurt more than the aftermath. The aftermath today, it's not really sore. It's I don't know, it's a little puffy, but that's normal. To help keep the swelling down, you can easily take some ibuprofen because it's an anti-inflammatory, or you can hold an ice pack on there for 5-10 minutes a couple times a day, and it'll help keep the swelling down a little bit. But as far as getting it actually pierced, I do have a pretty high pain tolerance and no fear of needles. So for me, it was about a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. The actual getting it pierced, it felt kind of like a bee sting and just things like that. I did have braces back in the day when I was like 11 or 12, and I had a Herbst unit. It's spelled Herbst. If you want to look it up, you can. But it is supposed to help with your overbite. It's supposed to bring your bottom jaw forward. And it was basically a hinge on both sides, just metal to metal, and then the braces, top and bottom. And so I had a big, I don't know, I've had a lot of pain in my mouth over the years, so this was really nothing that I haven't really experienced before. And as far as the aftermath goes, I would say it's probably a 1 or 2. As far as pain goes, it's not bad at all for me personally. If you have a low pain tolerance or a fear of needles, it's probably going to affect you a little bit differently. But I will have to say that this is the easiest, simplest, less painful piercing that I have ever had. I've had my belly button done, and that one was probably the worst, as well as my cartilage right here. This one took forever to heal. I couldn't sleep on that side of my head for like 6 months because it was so sore. My ear piercings weren't really that bad. As you know, I have these sized up to a 00. I do have a second hole in my lobes as well, but yeah, as far as all the piercings that I've had, those are all the piercings that I've had, but the one that was the most easy was probably this one, which is weird because it was the one that I was kind of the most nervous about because I'd never had a facial piercing before. So I think I covered almost everything. There is a lot that I haven't covered yet. Like I said before, please keep in mind that I am no professional whatsoever. This is just my personal experience, and it's just, I figured I would share it with you guys just in case you were thinking about getting it done. And please, 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 I want to stress this so much. With facial piercings, please, 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 do not go out and get one just because you see that someone else has one and you like how it looks on them. Please, 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 acknowledge that your face may look different, the piercing may look different on you, you may not end up liking it. So as, like I said before, I would advise buying a fake one online, playing with it for about a year or so, and if you still want to, then go ahead and proceed with it. But just keep in mind that if maybe your favorite movie star or your favorite singer or, you know, someone you watch online gets something done, whether it be a tattoo, whether it be a piercing, no matter what it is, if it's something that is altering your body in any way whatsoever or modifying your body, please, please, please consider that you are your own individual human being. Your face is different. Your body is different. You may not like it on yourself. You may just like it on them, and you might like the idea of it. But once you actually get it, I don't want you guys to regret it. I don't regret mine at all. I really love it. I think it looks awesome, and I'm very happy with it. But please, 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 if you are younger and you are watching me and you want to go get one of these done now that I've talked about it, please, please, please do a ton of research. Buy some fake ones on eBay or something, you know, and see how it looks before you proceed, because you may not like it. And I would hate for you guys to go and do something to modify your body because you were inspired by me or you look up to me or something like that and you want to be twins or, you know, something. I don't want you guys to do something like that when it is something like a piercing or that's something that can permanently scar you. And think about it long and hard before you proceed with it, because you are altering your body, you are modifying your body, and regardless if it is just a little hole in your lip, it is still changing your appearance in a way, and as I want you to be comfortable with who you are as a person, not necessarily you wanting to look cool or be cool or anything like that. So I do think I covered everything. If I did leave something out, maybe I'll include it in an update video or something along those lines. If you guys want to hear my experience on my belly button piercing that ended up rejecting, I did have to take my belly button ring out. If you want to know all about that, maybe signs of rejection and things like that, leave me a comment below and I can probably make that experience video for you guys as well. And with that being said, I will go ahead and let you guys go. I hope this was informative and it helped you guys. And also, as far as the metal and plastic posts go, please, please, please let me know your experiences in the comments below, because that is the one thing that I'm still kind of like, I'm still kind of contemplating, is I don't know which one is necessarily better. And I do not want a receding gum line. That is very painful, and then I'm going to have to get like a skin grafting in there, and it's going to be absolutely expensive and ridiculous, and nobody wants that. Please let me know your opinions and what you have done in the comments. And with that being said, I will talk to you all in my next video. So until then, so long, stay strong, stay true, and be you.